That's right, today we're reviewing motherfucking Pacific Rim. So, in 2013, Hollywood, for whatever reason, decided that they were just gonna grant some dude's wish, which was to have a giant mecha movie where we have giant fucking monster alien creatures fighting giant robots, and it's not like some weird anime that no one's ever heard of. This is a full budget giant movie blockbuster, and it is what most people wanted, and most people thought it lived up to that. Now, I want one thing to be clear. I have not watched any Gundams. I haven't watched that many mecha shows. I've only seen like a couple, and the ones that I have seen, very few have I finished. Shows like Gurren Lagann, shows like whatever the other classics are, Neon Genesis. I haven't seen these shows yet, and that's not even touching the giant Gundams that are out there. So I just want that to be clear, that I don't have like a hard-on for giant robots, and I'm very new to this whole thing. That being said though, this movie kicks ass. I think nobody like who watched this trailer or heard the synopsis was like, oh yeah, that sounds boring. No. The idea of this movie is that there is a hole in the motherfucking earth, and there are giant aliens come out of it, and we as humans are just like, well, let's just create giant robots to fight them. And we're like, yeah, that's the idea. And then it's like, oh, one person can't do it. Two people though, that's what's gonna... What? This is a giant fucking robot. What are you talking about? If one person can't control it, then how can two? That doesn't make any sense. Is your two brains is just enough to control this whole giant mechanism? What's the difference between one and two? But these are the questions we don't ask because it's fucking Pacific Rim. Now, a couple things. I don't like this movie as much as a lot of other people like this movie. I watched a review today where someone said Pacific Rim was their favorite movie. And I kind of just gotta halt the brakes when I hear that, because this is a fun movie, but I don't think this is a great movie by any means. This movie, which most people will agree, including the people who love it, is just a conduit for the giant fucking kaiju versus mecha fights. And those are great. Those are really great scenes. I love the scale of these things. If, like, Godzilla actually had Godzilla in it, this is what it would feel like, and a lot of the fights are really badass, and there's a lot of great moments. That being said, there is very little substance in this movie. There is maybe two characters that I remember. I hadn't seen this movie since it initially came out, and there was only one character I remembered, and then I was like, oh yeah, this other character. The ending to this movie was completely gone from my mind. It's not a super memorable movie. It is not a movie that will stick with me through the ages. It's just a fun, dumb movie. And I like fun, dumb movies. I like giant action scenes. I like fucking giant robots. I grew up on Godzilla. But never did I think, oh, like, I'm going to really care about these characters. If this character dies, do I really care? There are moments in this movie. There's a female character, the main lead, who is probably the only character that I really, really like and thought there was some actual story to that. That being said, though, there's not a whole lot else to this movie. A lot of the scenes in this movie are just drab. It features a lot of conversations that are boring. And even the fight scenes, as cool as they are, I really just tuned out of it. I will give a shout out to Charlie Day, my boy from It's Always Sunny, the Day Man himself. He plays a scientist in this film. It was a very mind-opening experience to see Charlie Day do anything else, and I was like, okay, he can like kind of present himself as this kind of eccentric scientist type character. I was like, that's a really cool idea. And that whole storyline with the scientists, I really like that. That was interesting. There are very few plot threads for the rest of the movie, though, that I was actually interested in. And the first time I watched this movie, I probably would have given it an 8 out of 10, just simply for surprising me. But watching it again this time, I really thought, hey, I really didn't get that much of an experience from this time around. I was really debating Whereas the first time I watched this movie, I would have given it like 8 out of 10. I was really debating 6 or a 7 the second time around. Because as much fun as I had, I was like, okay, I don't think that this is the kind of film that I can compare to other, like, 7 out of 10s, which are actually doing something that I care about. Whereas this movie is just, hey, here's some fun, stupid fight scenes to look at. And I know a lot of the criticism I have for this movie is going to be brought up when I review the second movie. I'm just gonna get out of the way right now. I like the second movie, Uprising, more than this movie, and I can't wait to fucking make that review so everyone can shit on my opinions, but I don't care. I'm gonna film that right after this one because I only watched this movie so I could watch the new one, but I ended up liking that one more. Fight me. So, I'm gonna get my score out of the way. I'm going to give Pacific Rim a 7 out of 10. Now, don't get me wrong, Pacific Rim was a culture piece. It was a strive for a movie like this just to exist. But I don't think when I'm watching a movie that culture background or little like homages really play that much of a part in my enjoyment. I'm not meriting like these movies based upon what they do for the whole world. I'm just looking at that movie. This film is important, I really do think that, but I don't think it's that enjoyable. I think it's fun. It's a nice, quick, one and done fun movie. So anyway, that's my opinion on Pacific Rim. I'll see you guys with another movie review soon, along with my review for Pacific Rim Uprising, which I'm about to film. Anyway, thank you for watching, and with that, I leave you.